On Friday, Turkey's new parliament was sworn in. This Saturday, its president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, extended his rule after winning the country's first ever presidential runoff. His third term allows him to continue what's seen as increasingly authoritarian policies that have polarized the country. Erdogan and his ruling AK Party are undefeated in national elections. And for more, we can speak to historian and political scientist Samim Akgönül at the Strasbourg University's Department of Turkish Studies. Thank you for speaking to us. Just want to begin. Is there anything in particular you're going to be watching for at today's ceremony?
Well, first of all, we have to say that it is a disappointment for the government and for the president because, of course, there are 81 states who sent representatives to the ceremony, but there are no at all Western leaders expected by Ankara. Only two heads of government and states are in Ankara. Bulgarian president and Viktor Orban, of course, the prime minister of Hungary. But other leaders didn't want to attend this ceremony. But not only the Western leaders are not there, but also Putin is not there, Modi is not there. So the Oriental leaders who supported the re-election of Erdogan are not there also. So the image reflected by the ceremony is a Turkey stuck in the Middle East, in the Turkic republics and Africa. Africa is well represented, including the Senegalese president is in Ankara. So Africa is well represented, but there is no Western leaders.
Yeah, two attendees that I would like to just point out that will be there. The head of NATO, the military alliance, and Sweden's former prime minister. That clearly a priority for them to get Turkey to stop blocking Sweden's bid to join the military alliance.
This is the priority of NATO. That is why the general secretary are there. That is why the former president of Sweden is there. But I think that the exercise will be very difficult for the Turkish president because he was elected with the clear and open support of Vladimir Putin and Moscow precisely to block this accession. I think that the negotiation between the NATO and Turkey and Sweden and Turkey will be tough. Turkey will ask some concessions to be able to sell these concessions in the internal politics. We will see in the following months, but I think that the idea of receiving the NATO General Secretary is very important for Ankara.
Yeah, any idea what concessions it might demand from Sweden?
Well,
or from NATO?
Turkey, from Sweden. From NATO, there is another thing. There are two types of concession. From Sweden, Ankara is expecting to expulse some opponents of Turkish regime, mainly Kurds, but most of them are Swedish citizens. So it will be very difficult to expose them from Sweden. From NATO, the concession expected is something else because Turkey made a choice of buying a defense system from Russia. So leaving the American defense system, that is why he was outside of the system. And so today it is trying to get in again in the system and to keep the Russian system of S-400. It's very difficult. It's a very difficult exercise, balanced exercise. So if NATO gives this concession, it will be a very important step for Turkey.
And as you're speaking to us, Recep Tayyip Erdogan making some opening remarks there. He has his third mandate now. That's done. The divisive campaigning is done. He's secured 52% of the vote. What of his campaign promises will be the most difficult to deliver on?
Well, there were no campaign promises. It's very important. The entire campaign of Recep Tayyip Erdogan was on identities. And he accused during the entire campaign, before the first round and during the first and second round in between, he accused his opponents of being terrorists, Kurds, atheists, LGBT, and whatever. So there were no promises. That's why he won, because he worked on identities. But the most important challenge after the election, of course, will be the economic one. High inflation, between 50 and 100%, a very poor production within the country. So that's why maybe he called back his former Minister of Finance to go back to traditional economic policies that was abandoned for the last 5 years. Maybe it will be the most difficult challenge for President Erdogan.
Samim, thank you very much for your time. Samim Akgönül speaking to us
Thank you.
from Strasbourg.